This conference will now be recorded.
Yes.
All right, we're going to call this meeting for Merritt City Council meeting for March 9th to order. Roll call. Everyone is here except Jason Casey. And we have Jason, our attorney, here as well tonight. We'll do pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody have any additions or for the agenda? Any approvals or additions?
No, this time no.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
1 second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda items. Any discussion?
Move to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comment would be at this point, if anybody who's not on the agenda tonight that would like to speak, can come up to the podium, say your name and where you live, and you can address what you'd like to discuss. Okay. They're on the list already.
Good evening. My name is Heather McGinnis, and first time ever coming here, even though I've been a resident for 9 years. I'm kind of a shadow person, so that's what a lot of people around town call me, is Shadow Mom, because my son is very prominent around town. We just currently bought the home that's across from Wagner's, the duplex. We bought it this last summer. And we're hoping to do modifications over the years as it comes, and that's going to, of course, involve city council and permits and everything else. So I wanted to let everybody know me and everything. We were also made aware that on the agenda, I noticed it's the contract for the Radio Link. We just switched or are switching to Radio Link. We've been waiting to do that till we moved our tenants downstairs out, and we were able to take over the entire place before we went in with Radio Link. But the question was, is there still going to be Radio Link? I understand the city council side of it, having two very large nationwide companies already technically available in the area, even though the service is not the best, because we have actually utilized both in the last 9 years. We're currently with Midco. Had to get rid of the original one because we just couldn't even watch TV. Signals were so bad. And my son, who does most everything online within the house from college, he's graduating in May with his dual bachelor's degree that he has done solely online. He works full-time. He's interning at the school. He is a sports coach for 2 different sports so far here within the community, and he does it all online. Not to mention, he stays in contact with people around the world online. And he's not able to really do that with the current availability that we have. So we wanted to change to the Radio Link, because the fast fiber optic, it's very local, the signal is very strong. Price point is better than what the other 2 companies are allowing. And it's a local business. I did get the chance to meet Daniel this summer for the first time. This is the 3rd time I've seen him in 9 months. First conversation we had was his mid-link, oh my gosh, it's already set up. We did not know this. We can't wait. My son in particular can't wait. 22-year-old, really going after his future and career. Can't wait because he is so locally based and very, I'm sorry he couldn't be here tonight, which is why I'm speaking. Otherwise I would not be up here speaking. But he had a previous commitment. So I guess my issue would be, why would we not renew a contract for a local businessman to provide a competitively priced, stable commodity for this community that doesn't currently have a steady sorry, I just totally lost the word in my mind. Does not have the ability to, because of the overuse, you have those words disappear in your mind too, it's just you're about ready to speak them. I see the dread. It's a benefit. I can't really see a drawback outside of, I understand financially for the city, the town council and the city, going with multi-billion-dollar companies, contracts with them would be lucrative, but it's also lucrative to support our own community members and the small businesses because, it's shop local. They're small businesses. And we didn't even know he was around here because we had seen nothing until we actually spoke to him. But to find out that it was right here local in town, and we could have gotten that signal for the last 9 years, not sure when it was put up, was, oh my gosh, that's not even, when I called to say, what are my options, I was given 2. Don't know when that third one came, but now that I know about that third one, please don't give me the third one, because the third one is out of the 3, and I'm pretty good at finding the best deals, the third one is the best deal. And just as a regular old resident of the city for 9 years now, I can't see a downside versus an upside. I can't see the cons that are outweighed by the pros, that aren't outweighed by the pros, I should say, that are not outweighed by the pros. So I understand this is the last minute. I'm sorry I'm not better prepared. Otherwise I would have been. It was kind of like, Mom, you got to go do this because I can't. Advocating for our local community members, their small businesses. We shop at Wagner's as much as we can because it's a small business and it's local. I love the Ladybug. We go to Nancy Jane's all the time because it's small business and it's local. And it really doesn't cost the city council and the city anything to allow and permit another competitive businessman to work in our area and bring good service to our rural area, that the entire country is wanting better rural coverage. And that's what we got with RadioLink. So that's just, I have other things I want to talk about, but I'll wait till next winter for that. That's all I have to say. On behalf of my son, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public comment at this time? If not, we'll move forward. All right, so we have requests and presentations, Keith and Melissa. You guys are up.
Yeah.
So first of all, we just wanted to introduce ourselves. We know a lot of you guys sitting here, but not everybody might not know who we are. So We are a local couple who lives in the community, reinvest in distressed properties. Their projects improve residential housing while also investing in commercial real estate and help retain local businesses, promote economic development, and strengthen New Richland's tax base. We currently own and manage 11 residential rental properties within city limits, along with owning 2 commercial buildings within this town. On Main Street, it's the Panther Powerhouse gym and an additional warehouse building that's rented out on Division Street. Over the years, we've worked very diligently to operate within all local zoning and housing guidelines. Our properties are maintained to code, inspections are kept current, and we have prioritized responsible tenant placement and long-term property stewardship. We take pride in contributing positively to the community's housing needs and local economy. We are here this evening to respectfully request consideration for an ordinance update that would allow us to partner with another local service, Holland Ag. The ordinance would be specific to the properly regulated temporary housing of H-2A agriculture workers. Our proposal is not to bypass safety or density standards, but rather to create a structured, compliant pathway that aligns with federal housing requirements that are already in place. The proposed housing occupancy would accommodate the H-2A workers employed by Holland Ag. They would be fully inspected prior to occupancy, comply with all applicable federal housing standards, meet health, safety, sanitation, and square footage requirements, operate under clear management, oversight, and accountability. This request seeks to address a real workforce need in our agriculture sector within ensuring the housing that remains safe, regulated, and consistent with community standards. We appreciate your guys' time and consideration, and we look forward to addressing any questions that you guys may have had. We did email a packet prior to this, and we just wanted to make ourselves available to any questions that you guys may have about this.
Do you have any questions?
I really don't. After reading through everything.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have anything to?
I really don't. If council wants to consider something like this, the next step would be to essentially authorize Ty and I to begin that process.
Did you guys get the email with the layout?
Yeah.
We have the, yeah,
It's all
we
in
got
there.
that all sent to
And
us.
we welcome anyone if you guys want to tour the property. It's really hard to imagine because you see just the little brick building in the front, and some people don't even realize there's a house there. But we're working with 3,000 square feet.
Melissa took me on a tour last Thursday, and they're putting the effort into that building. Like the bathroom in that building is nicer than the one in my house. Like they're making sure that they're making sure that this is a completely above board thing. Like they're putting in the time and the effort and trying to do everything the right way.
And like they said, it'll definitely bring more revenue into the community.
Correct, yeah.
That's a good thing for everyone.
And I know we just talked before too, there's quite a extensive guidelines they have to follow if they break anything, rule wise.
Yep.
Their
Yeah.
visa kind of is done, correct?
It's basically, the guidelines of what we have for all our rental properties. It'll have an inspection with the city of New Richland or Waseca County. Also has a state inspector that comes down to make sure that, everything's up to code for them. Reading what the state has for guidelines versus what we have in our properties, we're probably about 10 steps ahead of what the state does. It's basically, here's a room, throw some beds in and call it good enough for them is kind of how theirs is. With the addition, we're adding washer and dryer there. We're probably going to end up adding probably 2 just so they have enough space and in time. And then you can read through there, like, we're going to hire, there's going to be a cleaning person that's going to go through weekly, make sure everything's clean, everything outside is to order. And, if there are any complaints, I'm not too worried about between the city, us and Holland Ag taking care of the situation in a timely manner. So that's about all we have.
Thank you.
Matt, get enough work for all these workers? I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a great thing for a building that's been sitting there empty for quite some time, that make it again improved, make the uptown area
Busier.
busier and nicer.
It was kind of a sore spot there for a while.
Yes, it was, yes.
the fire was there for.
Also, to addition to that, we still will have, which we haven't even gone down the road with the city about it because it's on Main Street, having a storefront. We still will have the 30% there. So we might come up with, we came up with the idea of having a LBC, the Lee Narrow Business Center, of where you could maybe rent hourly or something with it. So we're going to still have room and space there to add additional businesses or whatever it might be that somebody wants to rent the very, very front part of it, because you can access the back from the side and from the back side. So it's not just going to be that. We still have additional room there that we might be able to bring something into town. So.
We're good.
Well,
Well, I'll make the motion that we move forward with their proposal.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, police department, are you, for your request and presentation?
So first, I'm asking to send Officer D-Rod to use of force instructor school. It's 5 days. It'll be $1,070 plus I looked, it's approximately $600 for lodging. These will be all 3 levels of use of force instructor training. This will allow for more frequent training, possibly the, it's a revenue if other departments, smaller departments ask for help in training.
What's the likelihood of other departments reaching out for that? Do we have
I don't
a
know.
projection of what money that could, I mean, $1,700, is that something that we could make up in a year? Is that something that we just have no idea?
Possibly, because we've not reached out to other departments. I don't know what that costs.
What other departments around here have the use of force instructor on staff?
The sheriff's office does, but it's been proven to be difficult scheduling wise. And I was just asked by the sheriff, by the chief deputy, about in October if Drew was certified so that he could retrain their use of force instructor instead of having to send him to another training. So we had one on staff in the past, and
Recently, have we had one on staff?
no, we haven't. There was 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
And then between, what have we done for use of force training?
We've had to rely on the sheriff's office, but again, it's been proven difficult to, and we'd be able to have more frequent training if we had our own, and it's well within our training budget.
Are there other departments around the area that would be our size, whether it's Janesville, that have a use of force instructor that you know of?
Not that I know of. It's possible that they do, but I've not reached out to them.
I think that one of the things to note is that our police department relies on trade and training.
Yep.
So this would, even if we're not generating revenue directly, it would be a tool where you say, you train us in this, we train you in that, and make opportunities that kind of make us more appealing to piggyback on for training.
And then my second request is the South Central Drug Investigation Unit annual payment. That went up because they haven't raised their dues in 4 years, 5 years. But that's an annual payment that we've made for the last 8 or 9 years. So that's been normal for us.
And that's not really optional.
No, it's
No.
basically like an insurance plan.
What was it last year? Like, how much did it go up?
$37.50 maybe, I believe.
Not bad. Not for 5 years of not increasing.
Nope.
Okay. Any discussion?
I move to approve both of them. Both requests. $1,670 for the training for Officer Gerard, $4,500 for the drug
SCD.
SCP.
South Central Drug
Investigation.
Investigation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, one nay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. People service.
Do you want me to come up
Yes,
there?
please.
Yes, please.
Hey, everybody. Okay, I'm asking for a new ladder in the trickling filter. A ladder was never put in this building, so a steel ladder was put in probably in 1952. It is now disintegrating, and it's something that I have to use to climb down in there. And if it detonates, I will be stuck in that trickling filter.
Is that the
So,
one you call somebody to tell them you're going in there that you
Yeah.
mentioned last
Yeah,
meeting?
carrying my gas monitor
Yep.
the whole night.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy.
Safety.
It's sketchy. So I'm asking for a new ladder that is made for the building, not a one that probably came off the back of a caboose. I mean, it's not, it's pretty sketchy. So I'm asking for that. And then because of the garbage issue of all the garbage coming in to the plant, very excessive. I did send pictures in, and I designed another bar screen to catch the garbage. Yes, you manually have to pull it all off there and bring it 27 feet up, but we don't have $3 million for a new building. So for the price of this design, have it made compared to the 3 million for a new building, eventually you're gonna have a new building. Nobody's gonna do that work out there. So, but for now, I can do that.
This screen is something you get set up where you have something to help lift this up out of there, or do you have to physically do this?
No, I have to physically. Yeah, it's only about this long, fits in the channel. I made it because it has to be temporary. So I have it where there's two holders, a bar in there. I use my tool, I lift it up, I have to pull the garbage off, put it in buckets and pull it upstairs into the dumpster. Shouldn't be that bad if a person does it twice a day. When I'm not there, I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah. For when I'm there, it will definitely work until we get some funding for some upgrades out there at the plant. But it will work.
Tell us about the current impact of not having that on the equipment that's balanced.
Oh, yeah. What this garbage is doing is coming through and it's wrecking the bar screen that's there. This is a very good bar screen that was put in, and I take very good care of it. That thing is getting so jammed up with all the it's just garbage that comes through. I mean, people nowadays, everybody throws everything down the toilet. We never used to be that way, but now everything goes. We're talking everything. So then it's getting wrapped up in our pumps. We've replaced one 10-horse pump out there already, and that was $33,000. There's 4 pumps out there, 2 20s and 2 10s. So we have to, and then once it gets up to the top, the clarifier, which I did send those pictures, it was this deep. And it's a 32 diameter clarifier, 10 foot deep. It was that deep of garbage. And then the trickling filter, it all goes into there, and that's where I need the ladder.
But, and it's filling up everything, so it's wrecking your plant. Yeah, I can make a good effluent, and I've passed every single thing since I've been there, except for one time. It was a rain event. And I can make it work, but it's a lot of work to make it work. So this garbage issue really has to get under control. I mean, there's diapers, there's briefs, there's everything, cigarette butts, condoms, toys, plastic bags, Ziploc baggies. Them are the worst. They get in those pumps and they just sit there and wind it up, and then the pump just stops. So we have to, it's always going to happen. It's hard to make that stop, right? Everyone's used to it. But these objects that I designed to put out there will help control some of this until we can get some funding. I mean, that's a huge funding issue out there. And I do keep it listed, with the cities, so we know what needs to be done. There's a lot of things that they put out there years ago that did not need to be out there. The whole biosolids, digester gas, and make methane. That last thing that they did, that was the most ridiculous thing they ever did. Could never make it. So you spent, I don't know how many millions out there. The items that are needed out there will make it efficient and make it right. Not have all these excessive things that don't end up working. So if we get these two things, I can get that started, start getting the garbage, and maybe it'll make my life simpler and your guys' life simpler. So yeah.
I know we need the screener. How will that affect, like when we have hard rains, will that?
It's
Question-
temporary. That's why I made the rod in there. So I have to pull the rod and pull it out.
Is it safe for you to be able to be in there to pull it out when heavy rain?
Yeah, like when the rain's gonna come, like the other night, I got here before the heavy rain came. And I was out there till after midnight. So, but I stay in town for that. I know it's gonna rain. And we had 1.7 inches. It was this close to bypassing, but vacation, when I leave, that'll be not, somebody will have to be in charge out there. But it'll stay in place. I mean, it's got a pin in there. It ain't gonna go nowhere.
I was just thinking if it
all
would
it's
get
gonna
damaged
do-
and we'd be repairing.
It sits at a 45. All it's gonna do is float up to
Okay.
the top. It's, and all the garbage that was on it's gonna, go to where it was going anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, we're trying to avoid that.
These are small things to be done to help the plant.
Should have made that fund to cover that.
Yeah.
The severe fund for that without problems. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the new aluminum ladder and bar screen.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. MCMA conference?
So the Minnesota City Managers Association Conference will be held April 29th to May 1st at Islands on Gull Lake. Other administrators and peers from the League of Minnesota Cities have said that this is a thing that I should really attend, especially as a first-year administrator. To make good connections, and there will be good topics, especially like the tariffs, trades, and treasuries, and impacts on small communities, learning about some incident management activities. And some of the stuff is, more on the touchy-feely side, but is good opportunities to make connections and resources. The cost for a first-time attendee is $425, and food and lodging is $402 if booked before April 3rd. So total of $833.02.
You got training budget the administration, right?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to pass the MCMA conference for $833.02.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then on behalf of Eric, asking to do the overlay between First Street Northwest, or on First Street Northwest between Ash and Birch, and then patching at various locations, is $33,672. The previous year budget was set aside $30,000 for overlay. So that would be just over 10% over the set aside amount.
So we already have that money in the budget.
30 of
30.
it, not 3.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? I'm just thinking we have 30,000, or are we gonna pull the other 3? But-
There is some wiggle room in their budget that we can
Okay.
Find it.
work.
I know after talking to him, he went with WW because Ulan's doesn't seem like they want to be coming to town they're supposed to have this done already.
Wasn't this the same
Yes.
stuff that they talked about last year and never got done
Yeah.
last fall? It never came.
So I talked to him today about it. And it's something that needs to be done. Our streets are a disaster here.
That's what we talked about specifically, is trying to get money back into the
Yeah.
streets.
No, I get it. We just kind of cut some money
Yeah.
to do that, so I'm just stating that we gotta make sure we figure out where we're gonna pull that extra money from, so.
Well, some of that was still police salaries, and we sit in March, and we don't have a full-time, so that's another 2 months that we didn't account for, taking that money out of, from last year's budget.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
So I think we're plenty good.
All right. All right. All right.
You voted on it, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Public hearings, we have nothing. Ordinance and resolutions?
3 resolutions for you this month. A resolution appointing a commissioner to the Housing and Development Authority of New Richland. Vicki Whiteside has been serving previously, just asking for a continuation of that appointment. I can read the full text if you prefer.
No, you know.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-04.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, resolution 26-5. A donation?
Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. It is. It's a perfect system to look directly at it. Come back. All right, Dale Bearcoller graciously wanted to donate $500 to the Fire Department Relief Association.
And then,
What's the number?
26-05, sorry.
I'm just doing the same. Same motion. We can do
and then
separate.
there's 2, because it's 2606 then too.
Yes.
That's for the ambulance.
500 ambulance.
500 for fire, 500 for ambulance.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-05 and 26-06.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, department reports. Sarah?
What?
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah, you're up.
All right. Were you able to print that application?
I was not.
Okay. I did get one application for an EMT. She's already got her schooling signed up. She did that before she applied with us. She starts in May and I think she'll be done in August. She works at the jail in Steele County, so I'd like to get approval to have her around pending background check, but I'm pretty sure she's will be fine with that. So I'd like to get that approval and then we can start her as a student driver also, because that way we can have an extra person on and then closer to the time that she's getting done for EMT, have her more just a student so she can be in the back with whoever's on.
We'll get another EMT going.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the new.
Pending
background.
background.
Of course, pending background.
Well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How many people are you down now? How
Pardon me?
many people are you still looking for?
No. It's still, I am still the main majority. I'm on pretty much every day. I've had to have a lot off recently because of family medical issues and stuff. But yeah. But we did.
Is this some daytime potential, daytime coverage? Is this person potential daytime coverage?
Yeah,
We
she's, well, she's local from here. Her name is Brianna Reese. So, yeah. She's in the military and she's also, so that's great. Yeah, and her sister's on this service with us already, so that's first responder, so that helps out a lot. So yeah, I think there's potential there to, and everything like that. Still need more people, so anybody that knows anybody, I'll even just take drivers to be on with us, especially like weekends.
Chad, you have to step up to the plate.
So he helps out, yes,
There he
yes. I can't say
Gotta
this.
do everything.
There's a little bit of everything. I mean, it's not a job for everybody, but, there's so much training that you can go through and then we walk you through the hard times. So, but other than that, we had PEP training, which is pediatric emergency training recently. That's good for 2 years. We did get our monitor up and running. I did not stay for PEP. That was the day my husband was getting out of the hospital from having a heart attack, so yeah. But I got the monitor training and we got that up and running. We did Sweetheart Bingo. We plan on doing some more bingo events, and then we want to do still the dunk tank that we did last year, so people can volunteer to be in that. That would be great. I was in it last year. We've had a couple, oops. And I spelled Chad wrong. That's okay. But,
I think it's called worse.
Chad helped me get the monitors put into the ambulance, so secure and everything like that, and it's up and running, so. Yeah.
All right,
Huh?
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just join. Help me out.
Make a motion to approve the ambulance report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fire department?
I don't have much to say.
See, we got your name on the form now. That's good. Step in the right direction.
That's up to the office people. I don't have any I had 0 calls. Last month's training was forcible entry. This last Thursday, we did ice rescue. That was a treat because there's not much ice left out there. Monday, they were fishing. Thursday, we couldn't get out there, so. Radio update, hopefully the end of next week, it sounds like.
Should be.
Truck update, haven't heard anything about that. Probably another 18 months yet.
Crazy.
I'm gonna start shopping for another one so we can get it in 3 years versus 6. That's all I have. You guys got questions?
No.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion to accept the fire department report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Denise?
Yeah.
I know, it's popular tonight.
Sorry. We had 97 calls for the month of February, putting our calls for the year at 181. Last year at 228 at the same time. Scroll. I didn't have much for this month. Went to the career fair at Mankato State University a week and a half ago. Talked to a few. It's just a struggle because I thought there would be more seniors, but it was mostly like freshman and sophomore,
Oh.
which I was not aware of. So, keep scrolling. I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah, not much.
There's still nothing as far as applicants on for the full-time spot, other than that one that we didn't go forward with.
It's competitive.
Doesn't South Central have a 2-year program over there?
So I think South Central does and Rasmussen does too. And Rasmussen is all online. You can do an all online program. And then the last 6 months are in person. And that's only 3 days a week, or 2 nights and a day a week.
Okay. Does Alexandria have any sort of like career fair type stuff or even just postings that we could do too?
I haven't looked, yeah. So, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the police department report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Care Center, are you up for Care Center?
I will
All right.
be speaking on behalf of the Care Center. Their average census was up from the annual average to 37.29. The managed Medicare was 6.58 residents per day. Medicaid 23.96. Let's see here. The revenue was 445,000, expenses 467,000. So they operated at a loss last month. Staff increases in January. New staff increased the payroll from 74 to 104. They have less agency nurse aides, but they do continue to need evening and overnight nurses from the agency, and they're working on getting that filled. And then part of the reason why they have lower income from operations is that they have multiple residents that don't have very many needs, so the reimbursement rate is low. COVID went through the building, hit 9 residents and 5 staff, but they were mask free as of March 5th. And the residents got to enjoy the Sportsman's fish fry. It was very good.
Good deal.
Have you heard anything on their progress of their audit?
Yeah.
I think they're just waiting on their parent information, and they'll be complete for that, to the best of my knowledge.
So we should be seeing that soon.
I believe so.
All right, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the Care Center report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Michelle, you're back up.
I thought I was next.
Did you finish?
I thought I was next. Every other, or is this?
If you're here, you want to present, you're welcome to.
Or you can sit in the back row. That's why I sat in the back row. I didn't bring my sheet with, but all right, Straight River has completed every update on the list for the electricity, the boiler, plugins, all the things. Pumps are now rewired for the lift station at the plant. You got the quote already. Minnesota Pump, I did send that today for the contract, for the yearly contract. That will have to be signed and sent in. I did drop off the Minnesota Pollution Control bill for the year, just to make sure it gets sent in right away. Yes, do not flush, wipes, flushable wipes, grocery bags, Ziplocs, whole food, meat scraps, grease, no grease, adult briefs, gloves, ice cream wrappers from the school, condoms, paint, stains, harsh cleaners, all of those things, bad.
I don't even.
They get stuck in the pumps and they're wrecking the plant. The temporary manual screen, that's the thing that I designed, so. Spring rains coming, please be proactive. Check your spouts, check around your house, what low areas, so you got windows open, you got cracks. You're gonna have to be responsible for it. Please do not put grass clippings out into the street, sticks, all the things from your yard, do not put it out there because then it gets all jammed up in the inlets and then we have flooding. So do not do that. There is a sewer emergency happening. Please don't start doing your laundry and your dishes. Don't wash rugs because it's just making it worse, making it way worse. If you do have an issue, please call me. Just tell me. I will come check it out, see if there's anything I can do or to help. I do have emergency buckets, which I have dropped off from the Red Cross, and I'll try to help you as much as I can. I can't do everything and I can't be everywhere at once, but I will help. So,
Bunch of the open catches got cleaned up today. I see.
it was probably Eric and Braden,
Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, if you see anything, just call, or if you have questions, no big deal, just call me and I'll try to help you. Okay?
Thank you.
Good. Anything from you guys?
No, I think you answered all.
I have to say it, sorry.
I'll make a motion to accept the people service report.
Thanks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, Shell.
Maintenance and utility report or?
Yes. Maintenance utility report,
Yeah.
let's see here, well number one, still not being utilized. Well number two, has a well efficiency of 10 feet gallons per minute. I don't believe it was used. Well number three did the lines shed this month at 1.8 million gallons with a well efficiency of 250 gallons per minute. Cool. Thank you, Adobe. Oh, there we go. Fluoridation report came in. Everything's looking good. Nothing of note. Extra. And that was everything that was submitted with the utility. And see it is monthly. That's that, his monthly must be buried in the light, but we're working on getting the street sweeper ready to go and just preparing all the equipment for the summer, making sure that everything, lawnmower and everything else is gonna be functional. Some issues with the street sweeper, the water holding tank is busted, so they dropped it off and found out that it's fiberglass and not metal, so they have to have that swapped out, which is gonna be, I think, about $1,000 repair. Basically finding a used one to drop in, and then just other general maintenance on some of the equipment.
Don't put away the snow equipment yet.
No. They're still working towards the farmer's hydrant being moved up here to the well. It's not used as much to make sure that happens.
So the latest update on that is that that well is injecting is too silty for farmers to really want to use it, and it's not treated. Effectively, what we're ending up doing is going to be looking for grants to remove the equipment from the bottom of that well and cap it, because it's not a useful well to us anymore.
All right.
But we're estimating somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 to yank the pump out of the bottom of that well. So inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the maintenance and utility report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And special treat, Dave Schmidt is going to start doing a monthly recap of what he's doing with the EDA to tell you guys where your money is being, well, the city's money is being spent as far as their engagement. He's been going around and meeting with all the business owners and finding out who's got what going on and how he can connect them with resources, finding out who's retiring and maybe looking to sell their business so that he can start trying to make handshakes happen to keep the businesses operating here in New Richland. Various other meetings, met with Bob about his patio home project that he wants to get started. And then also talking about the fix-up grants and things like that. The training events that he goes to do not count towards our contract hours. He included just as a frame of reference for the things that he's becoming more adept in. I don't know that you necessarily need to move to accept this as he's not an employee, but I thought it would be a nice thing to include so you can see it.
Kind of a caveat of our meeting today for EDA. Brittany had come and stopped and talked about improving the playground down at the park. And we're going to be bringing more stuff at next meeting afterwards, getting a little bit more information first, but she's trying to do some fundraising ideas starting soon. And one of them kind of was pennies for the park type thing. So we're trying to just work out some details and logistics on that, on where the money would be housed and that type of thing. But some kind of promising things, spendy things, but you know, it's going to be a process down the road. It's going to take a while, but we can start trying to raise money now.
Was it the Rotary Club or somebody that had, what was it? Somebody was raising money for the park and Brandy wasn't aware of it. Did we ever get them hooked up?
That I don't know.
Not aware of that either.
I think the commercial.
Commercial,
state,
commercial.
They were getting funds doing that.
So did we ever get those?
Were you guys kind of fundraising on something, or not some research or information, something? So, yeah, commercial club.
See if we can get.
Just so you guys know.
I think she's been in talks with them, or at
Yeah,
least
okay, that was
Susie
my
has
question,
for
yeah.
sure on some things. But we just wanted to kind of bring it to the table from our meeting today, what we discussed, and
Is the plan to still move the new stuff in the long run, the new stuff that we got last year that's little down the Legion Field?
so that's some of the logistics, because we have to look at insurance, if they would insure it to us to move it, that type of thing. There's all that, or if we need to keep that there and build around that. So all these different things.
Great ideas that she's bringing.
For
Yeah.
sure.
She's super excited to run with it, so, and but needs volunteers eventually here, so to help out. No, it's early stages yet, but we're working. You'll see some things probably around town eventually. So,
Very good.
The December 2025 check register is complete. We're getting over the hump with Banyan and some of our tech issues. So hopefully next month we should have January and February to bring. Let's fingers crossed. But December is complete. If anybody has any questions on that.
it's a little tricky because the vendor name is kind of coded for us to understand what it's for.
Gotcha.
So this one's kind of my fault because this isn't our normal check register.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this
So
one's
he was
totally
helping
different.
me out while I was gathering stuff for audit, so this isn't our normal.
Okay,
what
so it will
we
go
would
back the
show
other way
you.
where we'll see more detail.
Yeah, so any questions, you guys can always reach out, and then I'll update our other one and plug in the stuff like I normally would on what it goes to for you guys.
Okay.
And show him how to do it, yeah, just dealing with audit and stuff, and he was trying to get the packet together, so that's kind of my fault that I didn't put that out.
Now that we have a little breathing room, I'll be able to integrate myself a little bit more into the Banyan and the other aspects that we haven't had a chance to really dive into yet.
Yeah, it'll be good to have some more training and get things hands-on for the two of you to be able to both be able to know how to do things and everything.
Could not agree more.
All right.
And if you'd like to wait until after we have that updated, we can bring it next month too, so you can get the full picture.
But we should have January's next and
Hopefully
February's
January,
hopefully.
February as well.
I'll just do that.
Yeah.
So that way we can just leave this as is and come back to it.
Okay.
If that's acceptable.
You guys fine with that?
Yeah.
Wait until next month? Okay. All right. Then we're gonna go down to the rezoning request. All right.
So this went to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The application that was submitted included a building to go to the back of the lot. That's not actually the case. They just want to be able to maximize the use of the footage with a fence around it. So the issues of having an easement through the back alley or quote unquote alley, but just the city-owned property is a non-issue. The city, and I reached out to you, we have no issue, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended to approve rezoning 213 North Broadway and the city-owned property behind it. The accurate description of the city-owned property is unavailable. It's from before Landshark, the system that Waseca County uses to give the descriptions and all the legalese. It's from before that, so I was able to pull an accurate description, but it is the chunk of land that goes from basically from First Street all the way, actually across Third Street behind all these buildings. There's no practical impact on any property besides the one next door to allow them to use more of the land.
I don't feel that there's an issue with that. I mean,
I have no problem with that.
I don't have an issue.
We need it.
I make a motion that we approve the rezoning request.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right. All right, so new business. We've got Radio Link Internet discuss contract. Jason, I know you've
You
been,
want me to tee this up?
sure.
All right, in the past, we had a tower lease contract with Radio Link that has long since expired. There's been some talk about whether to enter into a new contract, and if so, under what terms or parameters. There are some cities, frankly, that don't even enter into tower leases. You guys are just gonna have to ask yourself, do you want to take on that extra liability? The towns that do enter into such leases, I would say that the proposed rent that you guys have proposed of $2,000 a year is very small. I'm a city attorney in Elysian, just north of here. They get $2,400 per month. So your $2,000 per year is very low. And again, what you have to do is you have to do a pro and con analysis. You know, how much liability do you want to take on for the rent? Like I say, Elysian's getting $2,400 a month. Lee Center, I'm city attorney there. They have towers. They have 2 leases. With one, it's $1,900 a month. Another one is close to $1,700 a month. So again, you know, Lee Center has opined that they're getting a substantial amount of rent. They're willing to take on that liability. Eagle Lake, I believe, is getting around $1,300 a month. They're a little bit lower, but then the competition is greater as you get into Mankato. So, you know, again, you guys are simply going to have to ask yourself, do you even want to lease space on your tower in light of some of the liability concerns? The contract that has been proposed, I think, is woefully inadequate. Certainly the one that we had that is now expired, that, I mean, I would call it a framework of an agreement rather than an agreement. I mean, my job is to make sure that the city is protected. And there is a lot of language that can be inserted in even this proposed agreement. For instance, it doesn't say whether this is an exclusive or a non-exclusive lease. If you're going to enter into a lease with someone, I would certainly encourage it to be non-exclusive, so that if, for instance, Verizon or AT&T was to come to town and say, hey, we would like to rent space as well, then you're not locked into this $2,000 per year deal when you frankly should be getting $2,000 per month. There's very little language in here about you know, damage that would be done to the tower. It's a 10-year contract. I wouldn't, in 10 years is a long time to be tied down to something. If you're going to do a contract, I would encourage you to do like a 2-year or a 5-year contract. And even 5, frankly, is pushing it a little bit. You have language in here that you guys can modify any existing attachments. I would eliminate a lot of this language so that if you want to add on to it, you have to make a proposal to us. We'll run that through engineering. You'll pay for the engineering study. We want to make sure that the tower doesn't get damaged. It doesn't interfere with any of our operations. So I guess I got two points to make. The first point is, do you even want to do a tower lease? Like I say, some cities have said no. And if the answer to that is no, well, then that's the end of the discussion, pretty much. If the answer is yes, you do want to lease space, then you need to authorize me to begin the document drafting. And I've done a lot of these. In my 25 years, I bet I've done 50 of these. You know, and we can do that. And then the other option is, the other thing you need to ask yourself is, how much rent do you want to receive for the liability that you're taking on? And, you know, I'm telling you the tower lease amounts that I have negotiated. You know, Elysian is up there, $2,400. It's not that far from here. So I guess I would start out with, do you guys even want to take on this risk and this liability by renting it out?
Can I ask a few questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think we need to have a discussion here. Do we?
Well, before you guys discuss, can I ask a few questions? Because you proposed a whole bunch of stuff that this is the first that we were notified of any of this information. This memorandum had never been communicated with us. My outside plant manager, Scott, was here last meeting, and from the last meeting to this meeting, we've had zero communication to our office from the city or a city representative. So we couldn't be prepared to even have a discussion or to submit any paperwork to the city to help identify the things that you've identified or Ty has identified in this memorandum. So right now we have a communication problem. And so what I want to do is I want to discuss a few things if we may, because this is the first that this information has been presented to us as a company. So the first question I have, were you the city attorney in February of 2025?
2025, yes.
So with the 2025 letter from Tony Martins that the city does not have, let me read exactly what he writes. On February 11th, 2025, good morning. I have talked with a few other communities and restructured the fee schedule based upon those conversations to something I hope is more agreeable. I've also had our attorney take a final look at this agreement and he is in an agreeable to the contract. Please look at the tower lease agreement. Thank you. So the tower lease agreement you approved in 2025.
I didn't approve anything.
That's not what this is. The Tony Martins has stated on behalf of the city, because he was the city attorney, that the city attorney agreed. So
Did this
what
city
I
coun-
want to
did
do
this
is I
city
want to,
Did this city council vote on any contract?
I want to make it clear where the $2,000 price point came in. In February of 2025, just over a year ago, Tony Martins sent in a proposed contract of $2,000 a year, which is a $200 increase from the original contract, which is $1,800 a year. One of the things that you're missing also in this is you haven't asked the city of Waterville about their new fixed wireless provider that's up on their water tower at $1,500 a year. You have selected nationwide carriers because even in your own memo that Ty has written up, Verizon is on Eagle Lake at $1,700, a nationwide carrier that makes billions of dollars in gross revenues a month.
Which town is it?
Eagle Lake.
And how much-
Elysian has $2,400 per month.
No, wait.
Madison Lake is $6,700 a year, which is $572 a month. Verizon, again, in Madison, or that's Madison Lake. So La Center, T-Mobile is at $1,900 a month. T-Mobile, $1,700. In this whole deal, you're talking about a nationwide carrier with mobile services. My communication business is not a mobile service. My communication business is a fixed service. Let me give you an example. If you had a motorcycle engine that needs to be repaired, are you going to take it to a semi-repair truck outfit that can easily repair an engine and pay $10,000 or $20,000 to repair a motorcycle engine? Or would you take that motorcycle engine to a motorcycle shop that might charge you $1,000 or $2,000 because that's what they specialize in? My point being is that even though that they're both repair shops, just like we're both communication shops, we specialize in a different type of communication. That's number one. Number two is you stated that my contract is void of a lot of language that you feel that the city needs to be protected by. Here's the Midco contract that in February of 2025, Tony Martin sent me with a public data request. This is for a fixed wireless provider in the city of New Richland on city-owned land. Matter of fact, 1 acre of city-owned land with a private tower that the city's not collecting taxes on. Unfortunately, that's now a structure in the city that the city is losing taxes on, and their contract is far more vague than mine is, and they got a 15-year contract in 2022 for $1,000 a year for an acre of government land. So if we compare apples to apples with what's in our backyard right now, Midco has a fixed wireless service, which is apples to what I provide is fixed wireless service. They get an acre of government land, city-owned land, for $1,000 a year. And we're expected to pay over $2,000 a month? To me, that's a little ridiculous. And I'm going based upon what was originally offered from the city. And here's the other part that I have a question on. Seeing as how the city no longer has Tony's email, is the city aware of the 9 things that was questionable on the contract that was presented? But yet there was no communication with our business yet again about the concerns that were in here? I'm asking these questions because the one thing that I think as an attorney you would understand, are you familiar with good faith negotiations?
Yes, and you're out of contract.
However, you just now, with this memo, committed to a contract negotiation.
This city never committed to anything.
Because the words are used.
You're out of contract.
I don't know what the problem is. That's why I'm here to resolve it. All I want is a contract to continue to provide service.
And we're under no obligation to give you one.
No. Is that the position of the council? Because I'm pretty sure, have you looked up the Telecommunication Act of 1996?
You're out of contract.
Are you familiar?
Yes.
Do you know what is stated in there?
You're out of contract.
That is not what the question was.
I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to play.
No,
name
I'm
name
asking you because
provision
I'm
as
dealing with
well.
this in another city right now.
Well, and then you're free to deal with it here as well.
So the city wants to invest into a legal dispute over the context that, according to the Telecommunication Act of 1996, and the Minnesota State statute says that the city cannot have the effect of prohibiting broadband.
If you want to sue us, we'll deal with any.
I don't want to sue you.
That you
That's not the point of this. The point of this is I've been serving the community for 13 years from the water tower, because before I was here, we had Clearwave with Midwest Wireless. And at the time, Midwest Wireless got bought and sold many times. They ended up with Verizon, and Verizon shut it down. Without my service in here, there would be a whole host of folks that wouldn't have had any service at that time. So when it's convenient for the city, now all of a sudden I can get a contract, but now that I based a business around utilizing the water tower, I can't get a contract? Is that what is being presented here? Because to me, that's not correct for a small business. And it's not correct for a city to treat a local small business like this. You wouldn't be treating a repair shop like this. You wouldn't be treating any other business downtown like this. You'd be working with them to figure out what can be done. Not just putting up this fence that, well, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. Unfortunately, there is rules and laws, and I really don't want to go down this path. I think that it's a no-win for everybody. All I'm asking for is to negotiate a contract. All I'm asking for. We've been here for 13 years. And there's no reason that the city should throw a local business out of town. All right? Does anybody have any questions?
Is that your sales pitch to the city?
No, it's not my sales pitch to the city. That is addressing what had been brought up from this conversation.
All right. The city's going to have to decide if they want to work with you and take on the liability, or whether they,
And just to be aware, I do have liability and greater than what the city required at any point in time. I am up on Minnesota Department of Transportation towers throughout the state, and I carry a huge liability policy.
Well, what does that mean? How much is that?
Can I have your request to see my insurance?
You bet.
We can negotiate a contract then.
Well,
Because
Maybe
I can't release that until we want to negotiate a contract.
oh, you can release that as part of a disclosure. That doesn't have to be.
We don't have an NDA.
Okay, well, then I guess maybe
My
I
point
won't
being
get
is-
it. I guess I won't get it.
My point being is that you've never asked Midco, you haven't asked Wyndham, you didn't ask Metronet for any of the same information.
Well, when I'm the city attorney, I can guarantee you that that stuff will be asked for. And if
Correct.
that stuff is not provided, that is a huge red flag.
I didn't say I wasn't going to provide it.
Well, I think you answered my question, and I'm satisfied with the answer.
For stating that I want to protect my business?
My job is to protect the city.
Correct. And all I'm asking is to enter into a contract negotiation, with part of that contract negotiation is to give you that information.
Yep, and the city's gonna have to decide whether they wanna work with you, or work with anybody for that matter, and lease tower of space, and if so, at what cost?
I think we have some discussions that we have to have here, which route we're going.
Agreed.
Does anybody have any concerns? I have a few, but, just wondering what your guys' thoughts are.
Well,
When did our last contract expire?
2018. You guys have been using
July.
service all the way up until 2024.
July 14 of 2018.
You've been using my services up until 2024 when the city moved to a different service provider. So you guys were continuing to use my service for the city usage.
Were you paying the $2,000 rent
Year?
that was in the original contract?
I don't have that information in front of me right now.
So you were,
Because there, at the time, I believe, I can pull up the old contract if you'd like. I do believe the old contract was written that you guys were getting service in lieu of paying for it. But let me look that up for you to confirm that.
We moved to Midco in 2020.
Okay.
when did that
I
come?
wasn't on council then, so.
Yeah, neither was I.
This one would have started in 2013.
13 to 18.
Correct. Right.
I have to go back and look at my other records. I did not break them.
okay.
Tyler
I
mentioned
just-
20,
I can get that
20
information from the.
2020 moved to Midco.
Yeah.
For
So
you.
in the time,
Chad?
since we no longer use your
I was
service,
on the council at that time. The city building went to Midco 2020, 2021, but I believe the fire halls and the ambulance garages used Radio Link until 2022 or something.
so in the time since 2024, when we stopped using your service, did you pay any rent?
No, I did not. But we can have a discussion about that. That's not what the discussion was about, a contract renewal. And part of the contract renewal can discuss the back owed amounts. That is part of a contract negotiation.
I guess my concerns are, we had OSHA, we had the Minnesota Department, was it of Health, that was in the water tower, that said the lines in there are a hazard on how they're distributed to go up to the top of the tower. That's one of my concerns. I don't feel we have the manpower here of employees to be able to monitor that all the time. And I don't want to have any surprises in the future from OSHA or anything else penalizing us because we have something wrong that we didn't even do. And that comes down to the liability side of our side too. That's my big concern. The other thing is, to access the equipment, you have to go with inside the tower. There's no ladders on the outside, which that means you have access to the whole water tower, correct? To get in and out of there whenever you need to for your equipment?
Yes, but we called before we enter.
I-
So we notified just like any other town that we would.
We're,
Can I address the OSHA thing here for a second? And I want to just ask the question, that it gets brought up about OSHA and now the Department of Health. I do believe, listening to the last city council meeting, Scott, my outside plant manager, asked for that report. And during that meeting, it was stated that the city had the report, but refused to give it to us when the city had received this report of deficiencies. And yet, even from the last meeting to this meeting, we still haven't received any copy of any of these reports. Here's the one thing I did. I called the Department of Health and I asked the question, has the Department of Health ever issued any deficiencies for cabling, wiring, or attachments to any water tower in the state of Minnesota? Their answer was no. So we have some discrepancies that we need to fix. And the discrepancies are, as you're using that as a justification right now, I would like to see these reports so that I can correct or have the capability of correcting the problem. And just so that the council knows, we have no intentions of running new cables up the water tower for any new improvements if we get a new contract. If we get a new contract with the city, we do intend on giving gigabit services wirelessly to the town and to outside to the local community without having to run cables like Findham is. We don't have to tear up the city.
No, none of that is even in this agreement.
This is part of the contract negotiation, the conversation that I was wanting us to have, and we have yet engaged into doing so.
It also says that the city would provide 24-hour access, and there's nothing in here about advance permission. There's nothing in here about obtaining our consent. There's nothing in here about you giving us notice or working with us on obtaining any of that. And that's all language, frankly, that should be on here.
But again, we can discuss that and we can come to a mutual agreement.
Well, I'm just saying what you have sent us.
What you sent us was the fact that we need to call you, and that is fine.
Well, I didn't send you anything.
Tony did, and at the time, he was the city administrator at the time. And so he was speaking for the city, talking and negotiating a contract in February of 2025.
I have the NPH report.
Also says in here, you're not responsible for any consequential damages that you do to our tower. I mean, what's that all about?
What do you mean inconsequential
It says,
damages?
neither party shall be liable to the other for any indirect, special, or consequential damages. So if you damage our tower, you're not liable?
That's not what that says.
Well, I'll read it again. Neither party shall be liable to the other for any indirect, special, or consequential damages. If you damage our tower?
That's not indirect. That would be direct damage. Again, you're looking into a contract and the wordage of a contract. Indirect means that if, let's say Chad goes in there as a fire chief, needing to make sure that we got water in our water tower.
I get back
and
to
he damages the stuff, I can't be responsible for him going in there. That's not what your own language says.
That is what the language says. And
You want me to read it again?
again, this is part of the contract negotiation, and this is where in a public meeting, I don't believe this is the place to hash out those type of things. It is in a contract negotiation where I'm not opposed to looking at different language that would be more acceptable to the city.
This meeting basically just decide if we want to go into a contract with you. And this is what we're discussing, because we have to make that decision if we are doing a motion to not go have your stuff on our water tower, or if we are going further. This is some of the things that he's bringing to us as points with that he has seen in there. Not saying things wouldn't change, but we have to make a decision on what the city wants to do and what the council feels best for liability for the water tower and city.
And I just want to add one other piece that apparently, since the council is relatively new, I do believe, and I'd have to look back at the actual date that it was passed. I did get permission from the city council at the time. I think Chad was on the council at the time to put fiber into the city. Part of that is the utilization of the water tower as an interconnect point for my fiber optic equipment. And so therefore, if you don't agree to the contract for my wireless equipment to be on the water tower, I still have the city permission that has not been revoked to at least have my connection gear for my fiber optic equipment in the water tower.
Again, we're talking about two different pieces, and I understand your attorney's position that he is very adamant that either I pay $2,000 a month or get the heck out of here. I get that. But at the same token, the city has already approved my communication, my fiber communication, to be able to be switched out of that water tower. Because it doesn't normally need to be accessed more than maybe a couple times a year for my fiber optic service. And that is for maintenance and servicing of my UPS batteries. I just don't understand on how I can be treated any differently than any other service provider, because Midco gave the city council at the time their contract, and there wasn't this issue with their contract. I give the city a contract. I'm willing to talk to the city about it, but it sounds like the city is unwilling to talk to me about it.
I just keep getting back to you guys want the liability with leasing tower.
Personally, I don't, but that's,
Let's see, they're moving away.
You keep saying that, but where is the documentation for that, please? Because that statement needs to be quantified as a determination, because now you're giving them as a document that they're making a determination on a piece of information. I need a document that stated most cities are moving away from that. Because I can tell you this, Owatonna, Waseca, Waterville, Albert Lea, none of them are removing wireless carriers from their water towers.
and their contracts are very detailed as well.
Yes, Waterville does not. And they just put one on during COVID.
Who put one on Waterville?
Who put what? What business was it?
Yeah.
Netwave Broadband.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we had a huge discussion with that because at the time we had a contract for the water tower and we decided not to build out there. So we rescinded our contract so that another service provider can go on there.
The only reason I asked is I'm a city attorney in Waterville, and it's my understanding that there wasn't anyone leasing space on the
Well,
Waterville.
that's interesting because there is.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Because they're also up north of Waterville on the MnDOT tower.
Okay. Yeah.
So, again, all I'm trying to do is continue to conduct a business as a local business. You have this EDA program that's supposed to help local businesses. EDA hasn't helped me out one bit. All I'm asking the city to do is renew a contract for something that already exists. It's not like I have something to do. It's already there. It's not like I'm doing anything new. As far as the new equipment that we would be using, the city wants to know what we're going to be using and how it's going to be mounted. I have no problem with that. Here's what we like to put up there. Here's on how we would like to mount it, the same as what's been mounted. I mean, I don't understand on how we've gotten to this point, is where my problem is. Why can we not have some communication?
Well, to that effect, you got a letter from me with my address, my telephone number, my email, right? I mean, one of you could have called me and say, hey, what's the issue here? Let's renegotiate this thing. Did you call me?
Did the city authorize us to get into a contract negotiation?
Well, I don't think the city needs to authorize you to call me. I mean, it's a simple question. Have you called me?
No.
Okay. You got my letter?
Clearly I did.
Okay, well, you know.
But that communication is a two-way street. Does a phone work both ways?
It certainly does.
So is it not responsible for a city attorney that wants to try and resolve a problem?
Only if they authorize me.
Oh, so now it's an authorization.
They can't authorize you.
That
to
is
call.
exactly what I
Okay.
got done talking about. See,
Your
this is where-
salesmanship, sir, isn't so good.
This is why I hired an outside plant manager to deal with this. You even refused to deal with him.
I ain't refusing to deal with anybody.
You didn't call him. You didn't
I
just,
don't
you
even
didn't.
know who he is.
I am sorry. He introduced himself the last time.
But it was
Mr.
just,
Scott Peen,
it would
my
seem to
outside
me,
plant manager.
it would seem to me that if you want a contract, that you would have called me and said, hey, I'd like to propose these terms. Instead of doing it here 8 o'clock at night on a Monday evening.
Well, we did propose it a contract at the last city council meeting. And yet I had no response from the city council or from the city attorney yourself or the city administrator that even any of this was discussed.
Yeah, I keep getting back to this, we can keep going around and around and around here. We're getting nowhere. We're just spending the mud. The key question you guys gotta ask is, do you want to do business and do you want to lease out the tower space? Is it worth the liability? Is it worth the risk? Do you want to lease that space out? If so, how much? Do you want to make it exclusive, not exclusive to allow other competition to come in?
We've never asked for an exclusive agreement for any water tower. As we are fully aware that multiple tenants are already up on that water tower today. You've got a contract for the New Richland School to have their two-way repeater up there. Do you have a contract with Waseca County for their 800 megahertz system? In the email or in the memo that Ty wrote, talked about power and on how that I just use a massive amount of power. What's really interesting, because I don't have any air conditioning units on any of my gear, but the 800 megahertz armor system has two 5-ton air conditioners on it, running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Which, I can tell you this, you're talking thousands of dollars a month in electricity costs that I understand supports public safety. I understand the importance of that. But you have the New Richland High School that uses that for their bus services that uses electricity power too. I've got my stuff on a UPS and I've got a meter on my UPS and I use an average of 100 watts. So a 100-watt light bulb being on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is less than $37 a month in electrical costs. I guess what I'm getting at is the communication has not been there, and it doesn't sound like the city has any willingness to even communicate at this point. And so you would rather do in a local business and say the hell with you versus let's work with him. Let's keep a local business in business and serving the local community and let the customers be the choice of who they want to go with. It's called competition. It's what also keeps the price in check. And just so the council is aware that I only have a little over a week left in the 60-day notification from your city attorney to have my stuff removed. And so within this amount of time, I've got to go and relocate over 140 different customers if I can, or they're going to lose service. They have to get a different service provider because we can't come to some sort of agreement or suspend the 60 days until we can figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, we can always extend that 60-day period if you in good faith are going to decommission the site.
Was the city council deciding that we're not going to have a contract? Is that?
No, I just said we can extend that if.
What I'm asking for is if the city wants to entertain a contract, I would ask the city council to suspend any of the removal demands until the contract can either A, be satisfied and approved, or B, that has been completely determined that their contract cannot be amenable to both parties. So I'm looking for a motion for that as a minimum at this point, which would give the city some time to talk about if they want to enter into an agreement. And if so, to give us time to have the contract negotiation talks that need to happen.
Sounds like a reasonable request.
So I think we have to discuss here, or we need to make a motion of some sort of what direction we're going. Because we can keep going all night if we don't start deciding what we're gonna do here. Does anybody want to say anything?
Oh, I have a lot of things, but I don't know how much I can say.
I think we extend the time period as long as they say in good faith that if we don't go forward, they'll still decommission the site.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, yes.
And then as a council, we decide which direction we want to go. How long do we want to extend it for? 30 days. 3 days from now. Okay.
Well, first we have to decide contract or no contract.
Not that
If I can make
Not
a
that one.
recommendation.
Yeah, no.
if I can make a recommendation, I would ask that the council suspend until they make the determination if they're gonna enter into a contract or not. And then at that time, make a deadline, which would
Well,
give.
we have
So
to,
like, put a deadline.
we have to make, I think, feel like we need to make a decision instead of keep extending this out. It just continually keep going each month. I think we need to direct Jason and Tyler on what our next steps are, because otherwise we're just gonna be back here next month, the same issues. So,
Well,
you
can I
know,
also propose one other thing then? Is that we actually, if the city wants to entertain, that we actually move it to a committee instead of in front of the council until we get something resolved. And so then we can bring it as a one lump sum back to the city council, so we're not taking up the city council's time.
I don't understand the reason of doing a committee, because it's just gonna drag it out longer, but that's my thought, unless I'm thinking,
We can discuss that internally.
Yeah.
That's
I just wanted
something we
to
would do.
offer that.
I mean, is anybody wanting what they wanna say, or I mean, I could make a motion of what I would like to and see what you guys think.
I have a question. How many people do you have under you? Or, I mean, for services?
Off of what? Off of the
Just-
business, off of the site, off of,
Out in the Richland area.
off the water
If
tower,
if that water tower goes down, how many people lose services?
430.
430.
That's services or individuals?
That is services. That is business, residential, and government and utilities. I also have the solar sites that are out around here.
So the tower reaches outside of city
It
limits.
feeds
Yeah.
other sites from this because I've already invested over $500,000 bringing fiber into this water tower so that I could use this as a central distribution point for my services. No different than what Consolidated did with when they put that building across from All Saints Catholic Church. Only mine is a much smaller footprint.
Are you prepared to pay $2,400 a month?
Is that the city's final offer?
No, I'm just asking a question.
Well, you do know that's like 5% of my gross revenue.
I didn't know that. I know that's what Elysian's
And,
doing.
and when you talk about the nationwide carriers, that is 1,000th of 1%.
I'm just asking a
Which
question.
makes a huge difference. If you're trying to balance the books for any business, you can't have rent that high.
Yeah.
And when you compare it to what the original lease was at 1,800 and what was proposed in 2025, which is 2,000, that is the reason why I started at $2,000 a year, because that was what originally was set as a starting point, which what was approved before. Not saying that we can't negotiate something, but I am not going to be paying $2,000 a month. There's no financial way that any small provider can do so.
Reasonable.
Well, any other discussions that you guys, or questions you guys have, or any, even just us here in the council side of it, of what thoughts are? Otherwise, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion not to go into contract at this time,
Just leave the.
and then give a, you know, we can discuss a timeframe, extend the removal.
Decommission.
Yeah, to give him ample time to remove that properly and safely, and to notify the customers. And can we discuss that at a later time to get it? No, send him a
I would
notice
suggest doing that tonight.
tonight, okay.
What would a reasonable time frame be for decommissioning and alerting your customers?
The ample time is 6 months, and it's because I'm a fixed carrier, not a mobile carrier. That's why it takes time to move stuff, not to mention you're talking an investment of over $1 million, which is more than my gross revenue a year because of that decision.
So, I mean, just for clarification's sake, the 2013 contract, I believe, had a 60-day decommissioning on it as well.
Yes, it did.
So what changed from then to now, the timeframe changes?
The timeframe changes because I did an investment into this tower to bring services in I was permitted from the city to do so. And so now it's a valid distribution point that I'm going to have to A, find a new location, B, construct a new tower, and C, relocate by burying brand new fiber to my location to continue to provide services to the community and the surrounding area.
I guess we have a motion on the table, so.
Sorry, I know it's a.
Okay, we got a motion on the table?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
I'm gonna go nay.
So we're at a tie.
You're at a tie. You know, somebody's got to give me the authority either to terminate this thing or to go forward with a lease. Without authority to go forward, we're sitting here and we're going to spend.
What does that process look like?
Yeah.
Just,
For authority.
If I don't have the authority to go forward, you got to decommission the site. You're out of contract. They have to authorize a contract.
They can postpone it until the next meeting. They can make a motion to suspend the 60 days, and they can propose a continuing discussion for the next meeting on that topic. They don't have to choose that today. Which would give time, ample time for any questions to be answered over email or phone call to anybody who has any questions or concerns. That way then the adequate documentation can be presented at the next council meeting to have an adequate vision of what both sites look like.
I'm not sure. What do we do in this spot?
Yeah.
I mean, we're at a standstill. No. I don't really want to keep extending this because it just prolongs it even further, and we're going to be discussing this into summer. And I don't want that.
So I got a question. What's the biggest holdup on everybody of why he can't continue service?
Mike?
I wouldn't mind seeing the service continue, but I think we need a little bit higher rent.
Yeah, that's
If we can
something that
reach
you
some
work
kind of
out in a
agreement in the
contract.
negotiations to.
But, I mean, obviously, if we don't get what we want, we can say, hell no, we're done. I mean, I don't understand why we kick a service out that's been in here for 13 years. I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking clearly. I don't know.
I think
I mean,
that they didn't have a contract for
that
several years.
was another thing, but
You know,
he
and
said
it's-
he'd work with us
we've
on
made
that
the-
possibly.
They've made the point over and over and
So-
over that they've invested all this money and stuff into it. Why wouldn't they come to the city and ask for a contract extension of any time?
So what
Time?
I'm the most concerned on,
There is an MDA, there is a Department of Health violation that he's pulled up, so I
Yeah.
don't know where he got that information from.
but
I don't know if that's
February
good faith. I
February
have no idea.
2025, Tony reached out to him. Did he reach out to any of us about him reaching out to you?
No.
So what the hell did it, what?
He mentioned that he was looking into it
We
because
never
the
authorized- I
contract.
never voted to
But
authorize
we
a
never,
contract.
no, and
So whatever Tony sent was null and
it's,
void.
it's not until we discuss something or negotiate it, but he had looked into the fact that there wasn't a contract.
Correct.
And trying to verify when the last time the contract was paid. He was doing that research, trying to figure it out.
But why did it take 5 years to reach out back to?
We had a lot of
Radio Link to
turnover
go, "Hey,
administration.
damn it, man, we haven't used you in 5 years. Just use it for free.
But we had a
I
lot
mean,
of
come on.
administration turnovers that didn't know that these things were not in place.
Well, Tony was here for 3 years. He should have figured it out in the first one.
That's water under the bridge. This
I know.
Yeah, it's a moot
But I'm
point.
just saying,
We can only go forward with what the information we have.
When you have 430 clients that would lose service, which could then Midco or whoever the hell else there is can go, we can jack your rates now. And you have nobody to
that
go.
anyway.
I know they do, but you have nobody to go to. 0 people. So then you're screwed with one provider. I've never personally used them.
I haven't either.
I've heard ups and downs. I've always used different places, but I don't know. Obviously, people are going through them, so they must be giving decent service. I don't know. Maybe it's terrible. Maybe that's the only opportunity that they have
That's
to
right.
get service.
Especially the rural people, that's right, yeah, I get that.
So
It's
there's
not necessarily the city's responsibility to provide them that. I mean,
well,
they
obviously,
don't have to be on the water tower to exist. There's other places they're not on a water tower and they're obviously existing, whether that's these guys or any other.
correct.
And that's why you have contracts that have deadlines so you can renew things. It's just like other businesses too. They will get renewed when they're up due for their contracts. We can't change what other councils did in the past to agree to that contract, but going forward, when that one's due, we will renegotiate at that time. That's part of it. We can't change that some people got a better situation at that time, but we have to look out for the city and everything else. And that's part of what our job is. Sometimes it stinks that we have to make these tough decisions. No one wants to make small businesses not thrive and everything, but we also have to make sure we're looking out for the city in itself for liability and everything else. Because end of line, we're the ones that are gonna get the fine from the agencies because we have a lease with somebody on the contracts.
Correct.
It's just an efficiency.
Correct.
I mean, I'm not wrong there, correct?
No, you're
All
not.
right, perfect.
I
deal with.
I keep getting back to, do you want the liability associated?
Right.
Do you want to lease it out at all? Do you want that extra liability? I would submit to you that it is not worth $2,000 per year.
Well, I didn't think it is either.
No.
And,
Not even
you
close.
know, no, it's not even
But-
close, especially when Elysian's getting 2,400 and Lee Center's getting close to 4,000.
And it's one of those, I deal with a lot of antenna leases at work that I work with. And, you know, they're pretty detailed and on how they can access it, how everything can be done. They have to lay out plans of how they're gonna do things. I know everything's been up there, but you know, we don't have a contract right now. We haven't had one. You know, granted, we were many months or years where we had different administration where things slipped through the cracks. That's on us. It's not like we're asking you to go back and back pay that. We're going forward is, you know, that we want to go forward to look at this, but, you know, also being a business, you know, you have contracts that are coming due to be able to manage them and reach out as well too, as part of a business, keeping track of that to make sure. So. Anybody have any recommendations of what they're wanting to do or propose? Because otherwise we're kind of sitting here.
We're gonna do something one way or the other.
Yeah, we'd all like to finish this meeting at some point.
I move to authorize Jason to enter into some contract negotiations if he's so inclined.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Nay.
You're tied up again, 2-2.
I move to table this to the next meeting so we might have a full council, so we can probably get a majority vote one way or the other.
Just as a reference that by the time the next council meeting is, the 60 days would already been expired.
Past that. So if
Yeah.
we go that route, we'll have to.
You'll have to extend
We'll have to extend that.
We'll extend that.
Just wanted to make sure.
Don't worry.
You guys take public input by chance?
Probably should today.
Yeah,
I'd go
I mean,
ahead.
sure, we're gonna be here for a while otherwise.
Then I have a question. I don't know anybody in the room at all, because, you know, I stay in the shadows and I prefer it that way. My question is, what liability is the city having? Because if you're negotiating a new contract, and I do not carry his service yet, as I said, so it does not impact me outside of my son's future usage. He's asking to enter into negotiations, not to continue a contract or to, yes or no a contract, but to negotiate another contract. So cannot any liabilities that you seem to have concerns about not be within the new contract that is up for negotiation?
I can draft the best, most beautiful, well-intentioned language, and a lawyer on the other side can be very effective at breaching those hurdles that I put in.
Which
But
is the nature of the beast.
Correct,
when
but
it comes to
in
that.
terms of the type of liability that we would be taking on is potential property damage or potential OSHA violations if the equipment isn't installed or maintained correctly.
Which would all be covered within the contract negotiations, and in the new contract, if you do that, that can be negotiated. And I do believe, he said that he carries a well above and beyond insurance coverage and everything else for the location, the equipment, which would include the tower that it's on, if I'm listening to him correctly.
I'm gonna read that language again.
I understand that,
That
and
has
I,
been-
and I actually don't agree with you on your interpretation of it, and it is
I didn't
a
expect
bit of an
you would.
interpretation.
Yep.
But and I'm sorry, I don't agree with you, and that doesn't even matter, but I heard you the 5 times you read it
Yep.
before. I just don't understand the lack of negotiation, which is all that's being asked for. And again, I have no play in this, I'm just watching the room and watching the people and watching the faces. And that was my job for a very long time in a career, so.
All right, I think this gentleman here has.
I'm gonna speak as a business owner. I don't use a service. I've heard the same thing up and down. But as a business owner, when you're running a business, you should have costs that are included in there for you to run a business. And if you have 430 people just in the New Richland area, what is your gross revenue from that amount of money? You don't have to answer that question. It's a pretty decent number, 400 and something thousand. Is that roughly something like that? So with that being said.
Not exactly, but you're way over budgeting, but you're
close, somewhere in there. Me I'm a landlord, I rent, so I know cost and I have to rent to cash flow, right? So for using property of the city of New Richland and only paying $2,000 a month. Excuse me, a year is these, I mean, if I was that, I'd be like, I can't believe they did that. No, I'm not done yet. So even at $2,000 a month, me as a business owner looking at that going, if I could pay somebody $2,000 a month to rent a tower that I don't own, that I have zero money invested in, do you live in the city of New Richland?
I am.
You do not?
I do not at this point.
So us taxpayers should be like.
But I do own property here in New Richland, so I am a city taxpayer.
You do pay taxes, you do own
So,
property, so yes,
therefore,
you do.
I do
But
have.
I feel like as a business owner, yeah, I think there should be a negotiation. I think there should be money to be made by the city. Obviously, every city could use a little extra money to put in whatever they're gonna use that money for. But it's gotta be $2,000 a year, I mean, that's worthless.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's just my input as, and then like $2,000, if it was me, I'd be like $5,000, but that's just me thinking outside the box. I don't know what you make on it. I don't know how any of all that all around, but that's just my.
Can I give you a little bit of background as far as what the city has done in 2022? They entered into negotiation with Midco for 1 acre of city property.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that.
At
Whoever did
one,
that, that
at
was stupid, too.
$1,000. And so unfortunately, there's telecommunication law that prohibits the city treating one communication provider different than another. And so since they're also a fixed wireless provider and I am also a fixed wireless provider, this now circumvents what they're trying to do, stating that now I've got to pay a ridiculous amount per square foot than what they've already done with another service provider. And that's where the difference
So
comes
this-
in. If they wouldn't have fixed wireless on that other site, that it was truly a cable provider, it would be a different technology. And yes, you would be 100% correct.
So it opens up a whole can of worms then by why does one company get charged this amount and why are they gonna charge you this amount?
Correct.
So.
I'm
And
also
this
gonna
is why-
interject here though
and
too.
This is the reason why that I'm not opposed to
Please
paying
let the mayor
more.
speak.
That is the only thing.
I'm gonna interject here too. That's where I had made the comment that that is a contract that was made with a different council. We can't change anything because that
Right.
contract is not ended and expired. Not saying that that won't get changed when
It should
that
get changed.
expired.
Sorry to interrupt.
We just can't do that at this time because that's a contract that was set up by a different council. You're out of contract right now, so that's where we're in
And I
discussion.
get that. But again, one of the things that I think the council is missing is that they've already set the bar, what a fixed wireless provider is paying per square foot.
Mhm.
1 acre of land is 43,560 square feet. I use roughly 25 square feet. So if you do the math, what Midco is paying versus what the city wants me to pay, you're talking around 7 cents a square foot for Midco and $80 a square foot for me.
Well-
And unfortunately, when you start looking at it in those terms, that is not entirely a good picture to look at because that acre of land, the city's still maintaining the lawn there. The city's mowing, the city has an expense for that acre of land that's being rented. That also the city's losing the tax revenue off of personal property on a government-owned piece of property.
This is a water tower. This is
I under-
probably the biggest, besides the fire station and the police station. I can't think of a more vital
So
piece
let
of
me,
it.
so let me put your.
All right, I was gonna say something, but go ahead and interrupt me.
Let me put your mind at ease. My liability,
I don't think you can, but go ahead.
my liability coverage will not only cover that water tower, if I damage that water tower, it'll also replace all of your,
What happens if you're
Wellheads.
not here?
my insurance still survives.
What happens if you're not here?
What do you mean if I'm not here?
What happens if you sell out or you assign these leases to
These,
someone else?
these contracts cannot be transferred. Meaning that if it got sold to another company, that other company would be back in here doing the same thing.
Okay.
I have not seen a COLA that's that kind of magnitude of to cover a water tower, because water towers are millions of dollars.
Correct.
Most COLAs are, $1 million, $2 million
Correct.
at most. And a new water tower can be 13. I can't imagine that a small business would be able to afford the liability for that size magnitude for just the water tower here. But, I know I opened it up for other people. I know.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
that was my input. I
Yeah.
just,
Wanted to.
no, you're good. I just-
Have we addressed the OSHA violation or whatever?
The MDH.
MBA.
I have not gotten a copy of it, nor have I gotten any notification.
Well, you're gonna get a copy.
Yeah, we will get that
That's
to you.
fine, but again, I'm not under a contract right now, so I can't take action into that water tower to correct the stuff right now. That would have to be part of the new contract negotiation to fix that if I do stay.
You don't think that your obligation to fix problems survives a lease?
Well, if my obligation to fix things survives the lease, so does my opportunity to stay at the water tower survives the lease.
Okay, well, you just answered my question. All right.
So if I can stay at the water tower, I can fix the problem.
What happens if you damage something during the decommissioning?
I am still covered.
Thank you.
My insurance still covers any work that I do.
All right, good deal.
All right.
Back to square one.
Yes.
Back in the room.
I think there was
There
a
was a
motion.
motion on the
I think
floor.
there was
Yeah,
a
there was a
motion
motion.
on the table. It hasn't been seconded, but a motion on the table to continue these discussions for what was it, 30 additional days?
Whatever covers our next meeting.
Yeah.
continue to next meeting.
And that motion should probably also include extending the decommissioning an additional 90 days
From today's date.
from today's date.
So that is what the motion is then. We're adding that to Jody's motion, correct?
If Jody agrees to it.
If Jody agrees
Yeah, I
to it.
agree to that.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
That one passed.
Thank you for your time.
Got somewhere. We wanna go home, I guess.
I still got more stuff to do.
Yeah. All right. Where are we at? Let's see here. Okay. February 2026 check registry, is that where we're at?
It is not prepared.
Okay, personal policy manual.
We worked with Victoria Potts of the Minnesota Valley Council of Governments. She helps us with HR-related issues. She updated the language in our personnel policies to include the Minnesota paid leave, and that was.
What page is that on, Tyler?
You have to really scroll down, it's pretty far down.
Let's see, is it?
Isn't it like 100 and something? I remember looking at it.
Family and medical leave,
Yeah.
page 43.
43.
Yeah.
These are Jason Connors.
Jesus.
All right, Bilby's 5 for 5 tonight. The changes are consistent with industry practice right now for medical leave, how we process it.
I think basically like for our paid family medical leave now, she took basically what the state's advising right now, since we coincided with what they suggested with the 88% was the biggest thing, so she kind of just took from that and put that into her policy. Well, now you gotta pull that.
Okay.
Getting there. Assuming it doesn't boot me again.
What number was it?
43. So we're getting there. All right.
So we don't need to take any action on this?
You can approve the new personnel policy
Yeah.
manual.
Make a motion to approve the new personal policy manual.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Miscellaneous? Anything? Administrator report?
Yes. The month was taken up by the audit. We were preparing paperwork. There's still some things that are kind of hanging out there with some questions that we're working on getting answered for them. But all in all, the audit went well. The February 10th joint ditch work session, the strategy items were discussed, but nothing was expressly committed to. Until plans committed to, discretion should be exercised so that individuals are contacted by the right people at the right time. Effectively, no news is good news at this moment. They're moving forward, trying to figure out what their strategy is going to be, but there's progress. Drafted ordinances to address the golf cart issue. This will be 2 ordinances, I believe, unless they get paired into one. They're on Jason's desk, and we're discussing some corrections. They'll be sent to the council hopefully in the coming weeks, assuming that they're able to be.
What issues are we having with the golf carts? Is that what the
That path.
Yeah, and there's language that's basically gonna make it up to the property owners to erect a sign that
Okay.
yeah, it's okay. Is what the ordinance is looking at right now. So I met with representatives of the League of Minnesota Cities to learn about assistance and made some connections there. Only five blue notices for water disconnect went out this month, thanks to Heather's efforts. She's awesome. Pantheon hardware is installed, so now we're just doing software stuff. If anybody has any issues, especially you guys' tablets, please document what they are so we can get that addressed. We're paying for it, we may as well get them fixed. And then discuss with Dave Schmidt of the EDA, the idea of getting the key properties off of the City of New Richland books and back onto the tax roll. In particular, obviously this is not a decision that has been made, so please don't take anything as gossip. The 2 lots that are here on Broadway, just south of these little clump of buildings here, could be prime candidates for construction for retail space, and just figuring out what that might look like if that's a thing that we'd be willing to entertain in the future. And then using their resources as well to potentially approach property owners in commercial zone buildings that are not using them in a manner consistent with their zoning. So using commercial zone things as just storage on Broadway and not space that could be used for business. And figure out if there's resources to help them renovate to attract business and maybe turn it into an asset for the property owner. And that is the brief summary of the month.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the administrator's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So now we need to go into a closed session.
So thank you everyone for coming.
Did you get any solder in here?
We got it. Turn there. There's a lot of warm bodies. Turn there.
There's a ton of bodies.
Your wife moved yet?
So we're upstairs.
Have a good night, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Did you stop recording yet?
Guy in the blue shirt.
In the white hair?
Yeah.
Larry.
Yes, okay.
Larry and Pam.
Yeah, yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
Sure. All right, so we're back on open session. We were in closed session under Minnesota Statute 13D05 to discuss a probationary firefighter. Based on council discussion, I'm assuming that council member would like to, someone is going to want to make a motion to discharge the probationary firefighter from probation and remove his name from the roster. Is there a motion to that effect?
I move to discharge the probationary firefighter from the,
And
And
remove
remove from the roster.
remove him from the roster.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was easy. Now we just need a motion to adjourn.
No, it's ready.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna need a bourbon.
I was gonna say, we should have made a note that we're all going